Hey guys, today's story is about a guy that has a bug up his butt. This is a story from about a year ago, when I was objectively a worse DM than I am now. I don't know if I handled this well, so I'd like any thoughts on the matter. There will also be some small spoilers for COS. The party consisted of a fighter, a wizard, a warlock, a monk, a cleric who was the victim in the story, and a bard who was kind of a that guy. And to add an additional note, I also had to make some alterations to the module, and play some things by ear since the module's plot was already spoiled by a mutual friend. The party had just made it to the town of Valaki after dealing with the hags and old bone grinder. They had just saved some children, and one had recently been killed by a random encounter, so tensions were very high. They had also retrieved the Amulet of Ravenkind from the mill, and the bard, who had snuck into the location to get it, was holding onto the unidentified item. They knew it was important and had an inkling of what it did, but they were going to put it off for now. The party was hanging out downstairs while the cleric was keeping an eye on the remaining child. He was reading to her when someone knocked at the window. It was Strahd, and he was asking for someone to let him in. Since he was looking through the window, he made a charm attempt. The cleric had passed, but the little girl did not. The little girl then ran towards the window, trying to let the man, promising to take her to her father in. The cleric had attempted to grab her, and managed to grab a fistful of hair, pulling her back. And while this happened, he also tried to get her to regain her senses. The girl had, with a lucky dice roll, managed to get away from him and open the window, allowing Strahd into the room. The cleric had attempted to attack the vampire with his mace before being thrown against the wall with a flick of the vampire's wrist. The man stood over the cleric and made him watch as he drained the girl of life before leaving. After this had happened, the cleric ran downstairs to try to get his friends, and they all ran back to the room, with the cleric explaining the situation. The bard, who had been watching over the children and had blamed himself for the first child's death, snapped. He lashed out at the cleric, the warlock and the fighter holding him back, while the wizard was identifying the item. And the monk had brought up the idea of using it to at least get her body back from Strahd. And when he listed what it did, the bard snatched the amulet from the wizard and said that he would be holding on to it, as he didn't trust the cleric to watch over anyone or anything again. Some time had passed while they cooled down and tried to iron out a plan, and then the cleric entered the bard's room to try to console him. And this is where things broke down. The cleric, to get his attention, tapped the bard on the head with his mace. Not in a malicious way, just to get his attention. The bard immediately told me that he was going to get the guards. I told him, sure, and off he went. Another note. The town is on edge due to the festival that is being held tomorrow, and the Baron wanted no one to mess up anything before the event happened. So the guards came, and the bard managed to get the cleric arrested for assault and attempted murder. The other party members tried to talk him out of it, but he wouldn't budge. The bard even charmed one of the guards to make sure that the cleric would get arrested. And in real life, both of the players were arguing and cursing at each other the whole time. So I pulled them aside and asked, "Hey, that was just some party conflict, right? Are you guys cool?" The cleric was chill and said, "Yeah, man, no hard feelings." And the bard did the same, although in hindsight he probably was still pissed. The next session had the cleric sitting around doing nothing, since his character wouldn't want to stage a jailbreak. His character respected the guards and didn't want to do anything to sour relations with them. Well, any more than just by getting arrested. So the party went off on a quest to find some stolen bones, and they found them. They also found a bunch of vampire spawn with said bones, and now they're on the run. And the entire time the cleric was saying, "Wow, it's not like the artifact we got could help. Oh wait, no one could use it but me." Which was true, as the amulet could only be used by a cleric or a paladin, and since the cleric was the only one, and in jail, they were kinda screwed. After the whole debacle, the party was pressuring the bard to get the cleric out even harder, and soon he acquiesced. The bard walked into the prison and said that he would get the guards to let him out, if the cleric apologized. The party then proceeded to threaten the bard until he convinced the guards to let him out regardless. But even after they got the cleric back, the bard still didn't give the cleric the item that only he could use, and even mentioned that he was thinking of multiclassing into cleric. I continued to have private talks with these guys, and nothing changed until the game finally died. Now don't get me wrong, they're both good players, and they've acted normally in every other game we were in. Yet, from then on, whenever they would play with each other, there would be a major issue. Do you guys think I should have stepped in more, or booted one of them? I know the way I handled it wasn't the best, but I also see these people on a daily schedule, so I don't really want to boot anyone, but I don't know. This is just something I think about once in a while and wonder if I should have done more. What do you guys think? Well guys, the DM certainly could have done something here. The guards probably shouldn't have arrested him to begin with because there wasn't really much evidence to go off of, and the rest of the party could have told the guards, hey, no, he actually isn't doing anything wrong. And if he was still going to have the guards arrest him anyway, he still could have allowed some sort of Deus Ex Machina to let the cleric out of jail when he didn't do anything wrong. And the most obvious one is he could have told the bard to stop it. Something was obviously wrong with the bard here. I don't know what his issue was, but the way he was acting was not cool, and it probably could have ended up with him getting kicked out eventually. But in any case guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you would like to talk and hang out with other people, I've got a Discord link in the description. But as always, have a good one.